Welcome back, friends. It's Tina here, and it's been a little while. It's been a minute since I had my last episode, and because I was on vacation and then catching up with life. In case you didn't know, I went with Todd to France. We went to the south of France, and then we went to the Alps. And I was the one who mapped out our vacation. And to be honest, I only wanted to do Provence. I didn't really want to go to the Alps. I was giving into some of Todd's preferences. He loves nature. Not that I don't like nature, I just prefer cities and towns. So I added that piece into our itinerary. And then after getting to the Alps for the first time, I realized, oh, we should have been in the Alps longer and Provence less time. So if you haven't been, highly recommend the Alps. It's just freaking beautiful. Everywhere you turn 360, huge mountains, just beautiful landscape. Anywho, back to today's episode. It is about the power of being seen, and it is inspired by something I'm reading. Let me get right into it. So, back when I worked at Goldman Sachs as a trader, I actually never really thought about changing jobs. I had started there as a financial analyst, and that's the junior promising position you get as a college graduate. And I made it past the 2 year, I call it the 2 year interview, where they're checking out whether to see if you should go beyond this financial analyst position. And I made it past that to attain the coveted associate position. And the associate position is also what they hire business school graduates to come into. And so I'm officially an employee once I hit associate. Now, just a background, in the mid 90s, when I was there, it was a male dominated industry, and I suspect it probably still likely is. Yet I always had wonderful bosses who took a role in mentoring me. And I never really thought about leaving until my last role there as a European shares trader. And I still remember the head of our desk, a decent Brit. By no means was he a tyrant or was he mean. He just always seemed to be in deep conversation with his favorite trader, another young British guy who was probably around my age. Maybe they went to the same university, Oxford or Cambridge or something. Now, no one was ever mean to me, but I also never felt special or encouraged. And I hope I don't sound like a Gen Z. Sure, if there was a trade issue or some issue with a client, they would have my back. After all my trades were part of the desk's book. But still, something just didn't feel great. And I never felt like anyone actually cared about me, not like my previous bosses at Goldman Sachs. And that's when I started to wonder, is this really for me? I thought a lot about it, about what I was feeling, and I started looking beyond my position on the trading desk. If I changed departments, would that actually change anything in the grand scheme of my career? Would I feel happier? Would I feel more fulfilled? Eventually, I realized, wait, I'm already at the best firm on Wall Street, and anyone would kill for my job at Goldman Sachs. And this is how I feel. That's when I made my decision to leave, to pursue what I thought I always wanted to do, which is to work for myself. Now, in hindsight, that was what I wanted to do. Now, looking back, what I realize is that I just never felt seen. And let me explain what I mean. Right now, I'm reading How to Know a Person by David Brooks. In fact, I just finished reading it and decided to reread it because of how many gems are in that book. If you don't know him, Brooks is a longtime New York Times columnist who's written a lot about politics and culture, and in recent years, his work has become more personal, more focused on what it really means to connect with people. This book blends observation with quoted insights from leaders, philosophers, even psychologists. It's very evident that Brooks is well read. The book is about how curiosity, attention, and genuine presence can transform relationships. There's one paragraph in a chapter called The Power of Being Seen that stopped me mid-read. I had to take a picture of it. Quote, seeing someone let me repeat. Seeing someone well is a powerfully creative act. No one can fully appreciate their own beauty and strengths unless those things are mirrored back to them in the mind of another. There is something in being seen that brings forth growth. If you beam the light of your attention on me, I blossom. There's something in, oops, I said that part. If you see great potential in me, I will probably come to see great potential in myself. If you can understand my frailties and sympathize with me when life treats me harshly, then I am more likely to have the strength to weather the storms of life. And then he quotes Diana Fosha, a psychologist, who says, the roots of resilience are to be found in the sense of being understood by and existing in the mind and heart of a loving, attuned, and self-possessed other. Oof, that paragraph really hit me. This is what I felt so many times in my life. And what happened at Goldman Sachs was exactly one of those times. Whether it was on Wall Street or even now in fitness, I've often felt like I'm in the room, but not quite in the circle. I've taken so many continuing education certification courses in fitness. And yeah, the master or lead instructors, they're nice, but I always notice something again and again. They often encourage or mentored the guys, not overtly, but it was there. And you can ask any female trainer what I'm talking about. She'll probably nod in understanding. All those times had left me wondering, maybe I'm not that athletic. Maybe I don't know as much as they do. Maybe I'm just not as good at this as they are. Until two things shifted for me this year, and actually quite recently. Number one, that passage that I just read you. That gave me a light bulb moment to be able to name the feeling that I've had. Number two, a business coaching call that I had with Shantae Cofield, who's also known as the Movement Maestro, if you find her on Instagram. This year, I've been working on my 8-week online Intro to Plyometrics course for women, followed by a live in-person workshop that I just did last weekend. You probably see me post about it and email about that. And then in February, I booked a session with Shantae to help me with the logistics and strategy of figuring out, how to put that forth into the world. And she said to me, Tina, you're an early adopter with plyometrics. You need to keep going. Wait, what? Me? An early adopter? I'm literally late to everything. Not to appointments. I don't buy the latest iPhone. I don't go to see new movie releases. I did not even discover Queen until after the movie Bohemian Rhapsody came out in 2017. And Queen's been around since the 70s. As defined in the tech world, I am a late adopter. But here's Shantae telling me that I'm ahead of the curve, that I'm onto something. She made me feel seen. So when I recently read that paragraph in How to Get to Know a Person, the sentence in that paragraph that flew up at me, if you beam the light of your attention on me, I blossom. Friends, that's the power of words. That's the power of encouragement. It might sound like I'm talking to you about me finally being seen, but what I really want to leave you with is this. We all have the power. In fact, maybe even the responsibility to make someone else feel seen. It's like directing sunshine on a plant. We illuminate someone's gifts, their personality, their passion. So yes, while I highly recommend How to Know a Person as a good read, know that even if you're not a reader, just imagine how much better the world would feel if more of us simply saw one another. Think about how much kinder we'd all be in this world if no one felt dismissed. I'm Coach Tina. For more information about how to work with me, head to ironstrongfitness.com and send me a message. I'll see you next time.